The University of South Africa is expected to challenge the decision to place it under administration in court. Now, this follows Higher Education Minister Nzimande's drastic decision. Yesterday, the former Chancellor of the University of Johannesburg, Professor Aaron Rensburg, is expected to take over the powers, duties and function of the University Council for 2 years. The university had been embroiled in several leadership and administrative squabbles for several months prior to Nzimande's announcement, but it seems those in charge at Unisa will not accept the decision to place the university under administration without a fight. They have lodged an urgent application to challenge Nzimande's decision in court. We are now joined by Professor Tumi Senokoane to tell us a little bit more about this as we unpack exactly what it means. Tumi Senokoane is General Secretary of the Academic and Professional Staff Association. Prof, good evening and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, my brother, and to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika.
Just, at first glance, what does this decision mean and your response to the decision that was taken by the minister?
Look, the decision, specifically Section 49(1), specifies the role of the administrator. Amongst the many, it has to do with him or her, in this regard, him, taking over the powers and the role and functions of council. And to a certain extent also, if you read other sections of the executive powers or decisions of executive management, that's what it entails in general, if it were to be successful. But I don't know if I heard you correctly saying that the university lost the interdict. In fact, to my knowledge, there were two court outcomes that the university won of interdicting the minister not to activate his decision or to make any decision in this regard. The one, I think it was somewhere in August and so on and so forth. But I think the other one was in October, 24 August. The other one was on the 6th of October, where the minister was prohibited by the court or interdicted by the court not to take any action or decision in this regard. But I am also aware that yesterday and today there were court processes, and Unisa will be going back to court Monday for the judge to listen to both sides and to make his or a final decision.
I mean, to that point that you are making, Professor Senokoane, in that the University Vice Chancellor Puleng LenkaBula earlier in the month successfully interdicting the minister from placing the institution under administration. What is different now that the minister has done, or is it still the same old story that we're going to see another court challenge that might be successful as we've seen? Is there anything different in this regard?
Look, you will know that in any law, administrative justice is required by implication, or meaning that people as public officials or public institutions, there are certain processes and procedures that we must respect and follow, prescribed by our own documents, the Constitution, acts or policies in this regard, the Higher Education Act and the Statute of Universities. And I think from where we are sitting, the minister might have acted quicker and disregarded the previous two court interdicts of October and August, and he might be found wanting. Of course, the law is unpredictable because judges make decisions based on certain circumstances. And Monday, we might wake up, of course, to a decision where the court might rule in the favor of the department and surprising all of us. And we might also equally wake up to a surprise that the court will tell the minister to say, but you got warning twice not to implement this decision. Why did you implement? And in fact, if that is the case, the minister might equally be accused of contempt of court.
So with that said, I mean, the other thing is that this decision by the minister to place the institution under administration follows the recommendations of the independent assessor, Professor Musia, and the ministerial task team headed by Vincent Mapai. Based on that, does the minister, to a certain extent, have a leg to stand on in court to say, well, the report is quite damning as to how the institution has been run, and as such, it needs to be fixed?
Look, remember the report of the Prof. Themba Msia's report is heavily reliant, for an example, amongst the many, or 80% of its reliance is on the MTT report, the multitask team report, that had certain findings. And some of us, including APSA, had certain reservations against the MTT report. And later we understood that the independent assessor, Prof. Musia, undertook a process of investigating the institution. And of course, members of staff and unions and other stakeholders were, of course, including management, were, of course, interviewed. But I can tell you from where I'm sitting as APSA, we were unhappy with certain findings against the union itself, the members of the union itself, and the allegations that are leveled against members and the conclusions that came thereof based on those things. And we come from a view that Musia's report is more like the Zondo report. It is based on rumors. Majority of it is based on rumors. It is based on allegations. People were never given a right to reply. And it was on those bases that we said as APSA, specifically the issues that, or the stipulations that mentions APSA and its members, we were very unhappy. And to that effect, or to that point, we cannot accept the minister making judgment based on that. But of course, the university itself then took a decision to challenge the report through a review process. And we'll know that if then there is a review process based on the legality, the legal procedures, and the merits of the merits of the report itself. What if we wake up tomorrow and we find out that the university successfully wins its review and the Musia report is set aside, and people will have suffered the consequences of that report? And we are saying, should the court then dismiss Unisa? Of course, the minister will have all the rights in the world prescribed by the Higher Education Act to send the administrator to Unisa. And of course, as a union, we do not favor any employer. Our interest is simple, is to advance the interest of our members and to make sure that we support our members and to make sure that the institution, the policies of the institutions, procedures of the institution, working conditions of the institution are there to favor our members.
Professor Senokoane, we're going to have to leave it there, but thank you so much for coming through. There was Professor Tumi Senokoane, General Secretary of the Academic and Professional Staff Association.